I am joined here today by the one and only Andy Mineo.
How are we?
We're doing great. Welcome to the Fully Alive podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We're having conversations on health and human flourishing. So I can't do this without giving you the proper intro. So
Hit me.
this man here, you heard it here, the greatest rapper alive. And we'll debate this till the end. And I'm right.
I told him to say that.
No, he didn't. Hey, I got this.
Yeah.
7 million records sold, multi-platinum, award-winning artist, has the accolades. However, Andy, you are one of the funniest, most creative, thoughtful artists that I know, that I've come across. And so your voice matters. And I just wanted to have this conversation with you today.
Of course. And I don't do people's podcasts unless I really know them or they have like 100 episodes in, because, everyone does a podcast, but one really matters, and I believe in the person, like I believe in you, then I'm like 100% sign me up. And you're also one of the most thoughtful and sneaky thoughtful, because you look a little bit like a dude, bro.
Yeah.
You work out in the gym a lot. You help people stay fit. But then you have like this deep well of thoughtfulness and information and how it all connects to the existential. I mean, so I love talking with you anyways. So putting mics on in front of us, I'm like, let's do it. Let's hang out.
Nah, thanks, bro. I appreciate it. And one thing I forgot to mention, bro, amazing husband, amazing father.
Thank you.
Probably the two most important things.
Sure.
Outside of,
Anytime you think someone's a good guy, just be like, just ask their wife
what
they think about him.
Yes.
That'll give you all you need to know. Fortunately, my wife still likes me.
Yes.
Which I like that. I like her, and I love her. And we have our new son in the world, and that's been awesome too. So
congratulations. And I've seen him, massive fan, and he is, he's the best. He loves you so much too.
Yeah. No, I'm obsessed with him. I just saw him on the way out, on the way here. He was fully asleep on mom, doing the starfish on her. I was like, this is the best. It's awesome. It's all new to me. My son's under a year old. You're deep in the game.
Deep in the game, bro. My daughter just turned 13. So
you have a teenager, brother.
Bro, I have a teenager. So let me tell you a conversation I had with her last night. We're driving. I'm going to get the kids ice cream. And she goes, Dad, were you dumb in college? And I was like, no, I was actually pretty smart. Like, oh, it was pretty smart. And she was like, no, I don't mean like dumb, but was your frontal lobe so wide open you could drive a Cybertruck through it? And I was like,
first of all, where did you learn that?
First of all, where did you learn that? I was like, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But like, where did you learn this stuff from? So, dude, that's dealing with a 13-year-old. And it's only elevating from there, I'm sure.
I'm glad that I didn't have the information that frontal lobes were, still banana bread at that age in my life.
Just the soup sandwich.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And these kids are growing up kind of knowing that. Like, your brain's not fully developed. It's all right. You'll get there. I wish someone would have told me that. I would have felt like, I'm not an idiot. I'm just, my brain isn't fully developed.
What's funny about that?
It still isn't developed.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit behind the curve right now.
Yeah, it's still a little bit of a flan up there.
So flan is wild. So I was putting my son Atticus to bed last night, and he was trying to figure out that conversation I had with Olive, and he was like, Dad, he's like, do you think my frontal lobe is developed? And I was like, hey, buddy, you're 11. It's not, and that's okay. And so I was trying to explain like frontal lobe and decision making and risk aversion and all this kind of stuff, and he's like, I think I'm pretty good. I think it closed when I was 4.
And that's why we know it hasn't.
And that's why we know it hasn't. So I was like, just buckle up, buddy. Just enjoy the ride. You don't have to grow up too fast. I think you're okay.
You haven't hit puberty yet.
Right.
And that's also gonna send you into another stratosphere.
Yeah, that's gonna throw some gas on the fire. So just you buckle up for that one, buddy.
Yeah. And that's gonna be tough for you and at the house, because you're gonna find some tube socks. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm ready for whatever though.
Yeah. You're built for it.
I'm built for it. But before we get going on this conversation, I just need to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of tension here, and I think the people out there do as well. Can you please explain to us why you voted for Trump?
Yeah, why I voted for Big Donnie T? Let me be very clear. Greatest president of our time. Greatest to ever do it. No, I did not vote for Donald Trump. I threw my vote into the abyss and and voted for some third party because I was like, I don't trust either of these morons.
Oh man.
So I didn't vote Donnie T either term, and I didn't even vote Democrat either. I just went straight to third party.
Yeah, bro, I've done that before too, just into the abyss. But I honestly just said that because I was hoping we could tee up the Donnie T impersonation because no one does it better.
Quite frankly, a very stupid podcast. Fully alive. What does that mean? We are fully alive right now. What we need to find out is how we get fully loaded up on missiles to go to war with Iran. Yeah, Donnie T is an easy one to do once you figure out the hand motions,
dude, the head tilt, the hand motions, and you're good to go, bro.
Yeah, and then just lie.
just lie through your teeth with
just
confidence.
Say whatever you want with no context. And I've known this guy 40 years.
He's just not even 10 minutes 40. Ago.
Yeah. Known this guy, great guy, tremendous guy. Nah, man. I do that. Sometimes I do impersonations out of nowhere because someone will say something, and then I'll just try it on the spot. I've never tried it before, and sometimes it lands. And I think, I have a gift for impersonating people.
No, you definitely where that came from, man. Well, I honestly, what I appreciate about being friends with you and hanging out with you is that you're so funny and you have such a good like comedic sense of timing. Because the more I don't lie to myself and I reflect on like who I am as a person, I definitely shift way more sentimental, nostalgic, serious. Sure. And so I was like, you know what? I need to stop taking life so seriously. I need to stop taking myself so seriously. Yeah. So being around someone like you is just like the biggest breath of fresh air because I was like not walking around like Eeyore. It's like, oh, you know what? Like we can have fun. Yes. We can laugh. This is good. So
laughter is medicine, man. It's medicine. It breaks up the tension. And also, I do think it is that's a major key, not taking yourself so serious. Because when you realize you're like one of billions of people that have come through here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like your problems aren't that unique, not that different from what we've thought of, other people have thought about. And it takes you out of the center of everything by just being able to laugh at it. And so I've had to grow in that over the years too, because, I'd find myself, I'm a serious artist. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. Like what I do matters the most. And I was like, dude, you understand there's been millions of artists before you. Millions will come after you. You're not really saying anything unique. You're saying it through your unique perspective and your time being here at this moment. But, and that's cool and it's valuable. But it also doesn't define who you are. You know what I'm saying? And just like, I don't know, being able to hold that stuff loosely and laugh at yourself has been helpful for me to not get too caught up, like you're saying.
Yeah.
In the throes of life.
Were you funny growing up as a kid? Were you like in class, the class clown, that kind of stuff?
I definitely won class clown.
Okay.
And a couple of those like, end of the year report things for the yearbook. Won class clown. And I always enjoyed entertaining people. Making people laugh, making people smile, making people have a good time. So I've always been a natural entertainer. And sometimes it was through being funny. Sometimes it was through dancing or rapping or, whatever it was. But yeah, not like comedian level.
Yeah.
But,
But enough to make people laugh for sure.
Yeah, like I would definitely do the wild stuff to try to make my friends laugh. Like I would just go to the 10th degree.
What was the wildest thing you ever did to make your friends laugh?
Probably drop my pants and drop my pants and squirt old people with a squirt gun that was filled with clam juice. With my butt cheeks hanging out. Just drop the pants. And they're like, what is that? Yeah, me and my buddy Ryan, when I was a kid, he had a bike with the pegs on the back.
Yeah.
And so,
you're doing drive-bys with the clam juice.
Yeah, so he's driving by, and I would drop the pants, and then they would look, and what is that? I was like, shut your mouth. I mean, we just die laughing. I mean, I've gone to great lengths to make my friends laugh. It's very inappropriate, but like, if we ever got an Airbnb, like me and the guys while we were like going to work on an album or something, be like, yo, there's a pool in the back. Everybody would be in the pool. you know, I would sprint out from the back completely butt naked and do a cannonball. You know,
Oh
just
yeah.
whatever kind of silly things to shock people and make them laugh. Uh, you know, I'd have to rack my brain, but I definitely put myself on the line a little bit.
I like it.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Frontal
Go
lobe
for it.
wide open. Yeah.
Frontal lobe was definitely like a pudding pop.
Pudding pop.
Yeah.
Some banana pudding up
Banana
there.
pudding, and it just, you know, I think it's still open.
Uh, so talking about your childhood,
Yeah.
funny, always been drawn to being an entertainer. Is there a specific moment in your childhood where you felt shaped the direction of your life to where you are now?
Yeah, I remember distinctly there was a moment when me and my friend, that same friend Ryan, we were real good friends when I was a kid. We were working on he had hacked a program that allowed us to record ourselves, and we had those little pencil microphones that you
Yeah.
could buy at, like, you know, Best Buy or whatever the thing was at the time. And so we were figuring out how to record ourselves, and I was at his house, and we had written these little raps, and we recorded it, but we couldn't figure out how to get the beat to line up with it. So I went home, and he calls me that night. He's like, "Yo, I figured out how to get the beat on top of our vocals," and he plays it for me over the phone. And when I heard my voice like rapping over
Yeah.
a beat, I was like, I remember it was like time stood still. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
whoa, this is what I want to do. Like, just hearing myself.
Yeah.
Because I was already such a fan of rap and hip hop had shaped so much of my life. That to hear it, I was like, you know, that was at that time, this was before like the home studio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This was when like recording yourself rapping was still like, you got to go to a studio, pay for it.
Right.
You know, and as a kid, you don't have any money. I was probably 10 years old.
Dang.
You know? And yeah, it just was like mind blowing, and I knew I wanted to do it. So from that moment forward, I just like threw myself all into it, which is also, I think, maybe why I was able to get good at it, because I started so early and had such a passion for it that I had
Yeah.
all this time to put in the reps, because I wasn't good.
Okay.
Like, I had a knack for being able to rap, but my lines weren't good. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that witty. You know, it took time of like working through the bad stuff to get pretty good at it.
Just a question on that. So Angela Duckworth, she's a researcher. She wrote this book called Grit. And basically the whole premise of the book is to be super reductionistic, is that grit is a combination of passion and perseverance. And so it sounded like you had that. So you said like, hey, when you started, you weren't good. Was there a moment where you're just like, yeah, I'm not good at this, I kind of want to quit? Or you had so much passion around it, you're like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I will just keep getting reps on great at it.
It was, I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
I also, looking back, and I didn't think I was bad.
Oh yeah.
Right? It just was bad. But I was like, what? Because I was, my frontal lobe wasn't there. It was just like, oh, this is fun and I'm enjoying it and this sounds awesome. And that was it. I wasn't like, I think you're not as self-aware as a kid, which is why people are always trying to get back to the childlike nature of, you know, the older you become, the more self-aware and like critical and self-judgmental you are, right? So at that point, I was just like, whatever, I'm having fun. And we didn't have Instagram. We didn't have any of that stuff where like you'd make a song, you put it out, and then people make fun of you for it. I got to fail and to play and to have fun in the privacy of just like my friendships.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a huge factor for like developing, is like just having the space to play, the space to have fun without the eyes of other people or the criticism or the rejection, you know, just pure enjoyment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I think about that too, because it used to be so easy to play and like lose time. And that's a quality I feel like I've lost as I've gotten older, and something I'm trying to recover and reclaim as an adult now. But when you were a kid, like listening to hip hop, very influenced by the hip hop world, who were some of the artists who were like shaping your experience, helping you make sense of meaning, like in your own story?
It was like Cannabis, Eminem, DMX, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Exhibit. There was like Dr. Dre and Snoop in there.
Yeah.
You know, it was like 2000s stuff.
Okay.
99, 2000, that era. That That's the stuff I fell in love with.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite out of all those, or not necessarily?
I did. I really like this one battle rapper, Cannabis,
Okay.
because he was like mixing. I don't, at that time, like very lyrical and like pseudo. This sounds so disrespectful, but it was like he would talk about like science and math and like planets and like I was like, oh, he's like so smart, like I
Yeah.
want to be smart. And so it was like very lyrical as
Mhm.
well, and I think that was like appealing to me. It's like a little nerdy.
Okay.
And I had friends at the time who like would react heavy to that.
Okay. Yeah.
And I maybe because that's also through hip hop one of the few things I could connect with, because I couldn't connect to being a hustler, being in the streets,
Right.
selling drugs, sleeping with girls, right? So, but if you talk about like, the planets, I'm like, ooh, I
got
could get
this.
that at 10 years old. I could get that,
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why. But I loved him and all those other guys I mentioned. Like they all shaped a lot of my taste and interest. And I also liked like R&B and stuff too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So had a
So
lot
you're
of
listening
Usher
to,
in there.
Boyz II Men and 99.
Yeah. And Usher and Boyz
Yeah.
II Men and that stuff. So yeah, I think all of it was just the 2000s, man.
No, I love that. I mean, we're the same age, so I come from, from
Right.
that same era. So I think so fondly of that. And it's
Yep.
funny because, I worked in the NBA for 10 plus years, and there was always a battle over the aux cord. And I was liked it when the old heads could get it, right?
that's
the
right.
Vince Carters and them, because then we could listen to Jay and we could listen to Nas and,
Yeah.
50 and early Kanye.
Yeah, and when you say old head, you mean 30.
Yeah, I mean 32, because a lot of the guys coming in were 18.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, who is this person? I
Yeah.
can't understand their words. I'm like, get off my lawn.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny how in the NBA or like sports, like to be old means to
Right,
be like
exactly.
30 years old, which
Yeah,
is funny.
exactly.
But yeah, I would resonate with that. And now it's so funny. Like if they say if you're born in the 1900s, you're old. I'm like, all right, that's happened.
They're like, I guess that's
it.
happened. I guess we're
there.
old now.
Yeah.
But I'm always fascinated with how art shapes us as people, shapes our communities, shapes our experience of understanding the world. And that's something that I want to explore with you just in this conversation too, because you are so creative. You're an elite artist. Like there's no arguing that. And so I think, I was at the Museum of Modern Art with my wife, Natalia, last month. And there was one of the artists had written a quote, and she was like, I use brushes and colors because it's something I can't express with words. And I think that's to a degree, like songs, paintings, works of art, movies, that kind of stuff, is it helps express something deep, almost like transcendent within us. But I know we've talked about this too before, but I do think that art a lot of times creates a transcendent experience into something infinite and something greater. So I just wanted to ask you, when is there a time where you've been confronted with a piece of art, whether it's a song, movie, music, and you feel like it has given you a deep emotional or like transcendent experience?
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I just want to have the name here. It's funny that you mentioned the MoMA because one of the moments that I remember most vividly was an exhibit at the MoMA that was about Nelson Mandela.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called, let me see. It was called Lament of the Images by Alfredo Jar. And I'm going to give it away, but essentially it's like before you walk into this, like it's a walk-in exhibit. It's not it's not like a painting. It's immersive. You're met at the front with like the stories of apartheid and what's happening with Nelson Mandela. So it's kind of like priming you. And it's they're on like these steel slabs. And then you walk into a corridor that's like pitch black. It is completely blacked out, and it turns a corner and it's completely black out, and then it turns another corner. So you're kind of like venturing through almost like a tunnel, it feels like. And when we got to the end of this pitch black tunnel, you turn a corner and it is this massive wall of just light.
Mm.
And I remember walking in and being floored.
Yeah.
Like I was literally speechless, and I was like overwhelmed by light.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just like standing there in awe, and like I couldn't talk, and I was just like having all these emotions and feelings like overwhelm me.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to think about like what was it about that, but a few things were happening. One is I was feeling so confronted by like pure light,
Hmm.
and there was nothing in the room. So it was like the wall of light and me. And I don't even think we understand psychologically how like a chair or a table just between you and I changes the feeling of the
Mm-hmm.
conversation versus if we were standing face to face with nothing between us.
Yeah.
It's like it makes you feel vulnerable. It makes you feel like exposed.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in the room to block this. So it was like this overwhelming feeling. And yeah, it just left such a mark, such an impression on me that like I'm still a little shook even talking about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, that was wild. And I did some research on the piece, and like even the intention of the piece
Mm-hmm.
was different than the way I interpreted it,
Oh,
but it was
interesting.
still profound for me. I remember that like yesterday. So it made me feel like what we'll feel like when we stand before God in a way, like completely vulnerable. There'll be nothing to block it. You know what I mean? Or to be in the way.
Yeah.
And it's like it reminds me of that quote. It's like you have to stand before God on your own. Like you're not
Dang.
standing next to your mom or your grandma. Like you will stand before God on your own when we meet him. And I was like, okay. And it was like pure. It was just a wall of light. It was so simple
Yeah.
and so profound. It's transcendent. It definitely like meant something to me on a deep emotional and spiritual level that was like almost hard to explain. It's hard to explain it now.
No, that's what I love, and that's why I love art. Is I think it invites us into the wonder and the mystery of reality and of God.
Yeah.
And I think from my upbringing and just how my faith has evolved and shapeshifted and changed over the years,
Sure.
is I've gotten so much more comfortable with mystery and with the concept of wonder. And I actually stand more like in awe of the beauty of things and maybe not knowing, but it seems like art is the only thing that can really help me express that. Like that's what like makes me feel seen. It's a little bit different, but when we were just there, Natalia walked into this room and it's a complete Monet exhibit, and it's all of his water lilies across the walls, and like crocodile tears. Like she just started crying. And I just think it's beautiful. Like I don't, why are you crying? I don't know. I just am. Like I'm just confronted by beauty. I'm confronted by something transcendent. I'm just like incredibly moved. And it's funny. I actually had an experience like that just a couple weeks ago. So very, very similar to Nas and Jay-Z is Mumford and Sons.
That's right. One and the same.
Same
neighborhood.
Adjacent, same neighborhood.
New York City.
No, but I actually texted you this, but they just released a new record, and this one of the tracks on there is Conversations with My Son. And I heard him on a podcast, and he was talking about how his son asked him, where is heaven? And he's like, usually I just like go ask your grandpa. Like he knows the answers to those questions. And he says he reached across the seat and put his hand on his son's heart. And he's like, this is where heaven starts, is right here. And then the song is about that experience. And like, I have 3 kids, 13, 11, 9. But when I heard him, like, I knew the story behind it. And then like, he sings it and the lyrics just hit me in like the deepest place of my soul. And it made me feel something I never had about fatherhood and about the goodness of, passing on a legacy and how much you can care for another human being.
Sure.
Like I can be like, oh yeah, I love my kids and I care for them, but that doesn't carry the same depth and weight that when he delivered that song that it made me feel. And dude, I was like crying in my car. I texted you. I'm like, bro, you got to listen to this song. And
I heard it and I was like, this song sucks.
Yeah, this song sucks.
I get nothing from this song.
Where's the 808 on this?
Yeah.
Bunch of strings and banjos. This is ridiculous.
Ding, 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 ding. Nah, I listened to it and I was like, man, and maybe I need to revisit because
Yeah,
sometimes if you're like brushing your teeth and you put on a song,
Oh,
it's
it
like you're
won't
not
hit.
in the
Yeah.
headspace, right?
Yeah.
But I heard it and I was like, I don't get it. It
Yeah.
didn't hit me the same way. But that's the other beautiful thing about art is like it you you have to be in a certain place sometimes to catch the meaning of something.
Yes.
Where like I'll go back and watch a childhood movie that I used to watch as a kid, but it's wrecking me now.
Yep.
But as a kid, I didn't catch a lot of the stuff. For example, one of the things was Peter Pan, right? Like as a kid, I loved the movie, but I because I resonated with the kids.
Yeah.
Now I resonate with the dad, Peter Pan, where he was like always on his phone, always working, trying to provide a life for them. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, yo, this piece of art is now a completely new thing for me. Or even like my album, The Arrow. Basically, when I turned 30, I was like going through like an existential crisis. Or like I was like 29. And I was like, yo, what? Time is moving too fast. Like, what does this all mean? Right? And around the time I lost my mom and stuff. And it was just like this grief project, really.
Yeah.
And like dealing with anxiety and all kinds of stuff. And I put it out and like some people were like, where's You Can't Stop Me? Where's like the high energy fun records that I know you for? This isn't for me. And then other people were like, this is the best work you've ever put out. And the response was like super split.
Yeah.
And then I had people come back to me 5 years because I was also going through like a thing in my faith where I was like dealing with a lot of doubt and a lot of uncertainty about faith. And that didn't resonate with certain people who are like early on in their faith where they're like, everything is certain and clear to me. And why are you, being this wishy-washy? They came back to me 5 years later and was like, yo, I needed this now.
Wow.
Like this piece of art existed, and it didn't connect with me the first time.
Yeah, no, I feel that, especially like you had a record on that one. I think it was The Arrow called Clarity, and
yeah, I think it's Clarity. Yeah.
Clarity, yeah. And bro, I was self-destructing. I was lost in the wilderness. All the doubt in the world. I didn't know which way was up, down, left, right.
Yeah.
Felt like my entire life was falling apart, and that song was the soundtrack because it did. And I don't even think I knew you at the time when you released that one.
Yeah.
But it made me feel seen in what I was experiencing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I can make it through today because I know that I'm not alone. I know there's someone else who's wrestling with this.
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna like just carry this thing. And I don't think I ever told you the story. But I was working in the NBA for the Hawks, and we were like traveling all the time. And I remember one day we were leaving Atlanta on, our charter plane, and it was super gray and rainy and dark, and it's only like 1 PM. And I was so depressed, man. I was like, I hate my life. I'm just miserable. And I'm listening to this song, and then there's something in there where it talks about like something outside of what you can see, or like there's a light, and bro, we broke through the clouds and it was nothing but blue skies and sunlight. And I was listening to the song and I was like, all right, God is orchestrating something for me to feel something, to experience something that's going to carry me another day. Cause like I didn't come out of it that next day, but I'll never forget that moment. But it's really timestamped like with art, and it's like a piece of art that you've created.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's an honor, actually. And so much of art that people experience is time stamped. Like this album makes me think of high school.
Yeah.
This movie makes me think of middle school or whatever it is. And I think that's cool because like you're essentially helping make culture. Like when you create something and then people resonate with it or use it, find utility, find comfort, find entertainment, whatever through it. You're like a part of enriching other people's lives when you put something in the world. Like maybe this podcast will be an enrichment for someone's life who's, 25 right now. And, that pod meant something to me. You don't know. Yeah. But the cool part is you get to put it out, and that is part of being human, being alive, experiencing things, capturing them, putting them out, and then letting other humans find it.
No, I love that. I mean, I admire you for your courage to do that because if you do anything creative, like you're kind of putting your soul and heart out there to receive criticism. Like some people are gonna think this is great and it's helpful. You also receive criticism, so I think it can be easy to kind of like lean into
Sure.
like cowardice and just be, I'm not gonna do it. But you don't do that at all. And so like I admire you for your courage in putting that out there. And that's my hope, is because I have a dream and a vision where I want to see all people flourish. I want to see relationships flourish, people individually, context, communities, environments. And I think art is a huge part of that story that makes that happen. And so like I truly see your work as like this greater good and this greater why in the world, is that it creates flourishing amongst communities and helps people process things and make sense of things, and it draws people together in a time where we can be very fragmented. I think that the art, specifically the art that you create, I think it truly brings people together and is like a unifying force
Hmm.
for good. And that's what I want to see, is just more goodness happening in the world.
That's fire. That's what I would like to see as well.
Yeah. Cheers to
I
that.
yeah, from this pod where you were like, I want to ask you questions about art, it's made me think more as well about like, oh yeah, I make art, but like what is it? And what does it do? What are like the
Mm-hmm.
functions in the world? And so like I've just been like the last day, floating around like thinking about it. And um I don't know, when I've been trying to like synthesize it a little bit, but art is one of those things when you say like describe it, people have a really tough time
Yeah.
because you're like, how can you really give words to it?
Mm-hmm.
When it's like, what is love? Describe it. It's one of those things like, it's kind of so big and so intertwined and so many different things for different people to describe it is difficult. But um, I've found that like art, I synthesized this the other day. I said art, I wrote it, I said, it either typically, and this isn't the only functions, but I found that this tends to be the buckets, is like it usually comforts
Mm-hmm.
people, like empathizes, puts into language or into words or into a painting or into a poem, stuff that we have felt and haven't been able to describe, or
Yes.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it empathizes, it
Mm-hmm.
it, it comforts people. You see something and it resonates with you and someone else made it. So I found it to do that. I find it like confronts things as
Yeah.
well, like parts of yourself, or it confronts like evil or oppression or wickedness or whatever. It is like a pushback, a mirror. It confronts things. That's why art gets oftentimes used in like all the revolutions that happen through
Yeah.
like poems or through, pictures or art or music, like the punk
Mm-hmm.
rock scene,
Yeah.
pushing back on stuff. And then the other thing I see it do is it confesses.
Ooh.
Like, it
Yeah.
like it fully embodies the human experience. So when I was like going through the things I was going through when I wrote Clarity,
Mm-hmm.
I'm confessing a very like vulnerable thing about me. Like I don't know what's happening,
Yeah.
and I want God to give me clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Because then
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I don't even know if you exist.
Yeah.
God, I don't know if
Yep.
this is real or this is all a lie.
Yep.
So in confession, which is why I think as a core tenet of Christianity is
Mm.
fascinating, is like to confess is like a core tenet because it forces you to be vulnerable when we would all rather guard ourselves and give the appearance of godliness or the appearance of being put together than to deal with the brokenness of confessing.
Yeah.
And then like when you admit you're broken, you can actually get healing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fascinating, right? Like how all this stuff works. And I did it with all C's just so I could help people remember it. But it was, a nice little packaged bow
Mm-hmm.
on what I think art does. And I think it does many other things, but those are a few things for me that I think are always showing up.
Can you tell me a time where you have felt especially confronted or comforted by art? What was going on in your life, and what was that piece of art? And I use that very
Yeah.
broadly. It could be, painting, music, movie, film, whatever.
Yeah, I think I told you this story once. I was like on my way home. I was in an airport. For some reason, that's when I get like most of my music
Mm-hmm.
listening going on because, you're traveling, you're by yourself. So I throw in the AirPods, and at that time, an album come out from Kanye West. I think it was. I can't remember what. I don't even remember. It says the one that says I'm bipolar on the front. I
Oh,
think.
that was the one he recorded in Jackson, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was I think it was this, but there was a song on there called Ghost Town.
Okay.
And at the end of Ghost Town, what's her name? Shakes? 808, 80, I don't know. Sorry, I'm messing up your name. Shakes 80 something. She was singing this part where the lyrics go, I put my hand on the stove to see if I still bleed, and nothing hurts anymore. I feel kind of free. And I was in the bathroom, like I just used the bathroom. That song's going, my first time listening to it. And then I'm washing my hands and that part comes on and I just start going, and I'm like, whoa. That's a weird sneeze you just did right there. And I just start like choking up and like tears start coming down. I'm like, what is happening? So I was like confronted with, I don't know, it was like the beauty of the melody, the sadness of the melody, also like the lyrics that were connecting with me. And what was crazy is I think it was happening on a subconscious level because I couldn't even, it's not like somebody said a very clear thing. I feel this way and that's why I feel this way. I was like, no, you said I put my hand on a stove to see if I still bleed. Like you're using imagery, which is, the engaging of the imagination. Yep. And what I've found is this is one of the reasons why art is so powerful is because it engages the imagination, and the imagination is the back door to the heart.
Dang.
Like you can say words and try to get to the heart, but I'll have a much better time accessing your feeling, your heart, if I tell you a story or if I paint you a picture or if I use an analogy, right? And so it engages my subconscious and my imagination. It hits me somehow. And I think if I were to process it, it was the idea of like feeling numb, feeling like nothing and wanting to know if you're still alive. And we can numb ourselves with so many things, right? Porn, excess, food, right? And I don't know. Like the more I thought about that lyric, I would just like, somehow I resonate with what she's saying about not feeling and wanting to know if you're still alive. And if you don't feel anything, are you free? And I was like, I do want to feel free.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm not feeling the criticism. Maybe I'm not feeling the judgment or the shame. And that made me feel free. Or maybe I need to feel. It was just, I can't even really explain it. But I just know that struck me like a ton of bricks. And another fascinating moment where art just, melted my face.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what it means.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative.
It's provocative. It gets the people going.
Yeah, it got me going. That was for sure a moment.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. What do you think it means? Did those lyrics hit you at all in any way? I'm trying to remember what it said.
No, they do. And I think it's because, because like I, had self-medicated with alcohol, trying to numb anxiety, depression. Oh yeah, you got it?
So you've tried to self-medicate?
Yeah, so self-medicating is like to not feel because like the feeling is too overwhelming or too uncomfortable, right? And I can't confront those feelings, so then I can like suppress those down. But then becoming so numb, you're like, dang, am I still even alive? Because I think the ability to feel and be honest about those feelings is probably a pretty integral part of what makes us human. Yep. So if I had completely shut off that side of my humanity and it's like, great, I don't feel the pain, but now I feel no goodness now either. I feel no beauty now either.
Yeah.
And
shutting it all down.
Yeah, you just shut it all down. So there was a cost, right, to that. And so then, I guess in my own journey, I had to figure out like, okay, how do I embrace all of my emotions?
Yeah.
Like whether it's coming from, criticism or depression or fear, and just to be honest about those. And then also because then you get the flip side too. It's like, oh, I can feel joy again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. When you make yourself vulnerable enough to
right.
feel. Well, I did just pull up the lyrics, and I see there. I missed some lyrics, which is why I think it also hit me. He says, "Whoa, once again I'm a child. I let go of everything that I know, and nothing hurts anymore. I feel kind of free. We're still the kids we used to be. I put my hand on the stove to see if I still bleed, and nothing hurts anymore. I feel kind of free." I think that was the thing that resonated with me. Now that I remember the context, it was, I let go of everything that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was at a time when I was like letting go of all the certainty that I had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that feels like me. I've had to relinquish some things because either they didn't make sense to me, or they were no longer serving me, or I was so confused, which is why that album,
Mm-hmm.
that song Clarity was so big for me at that time. And I think when you let go of certainty, it's so scary.
Yeah.
So like someone else just saying it out loud was like that comfort as well too. You know what I mean? Like someone else understands what it is to let go of everything that you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And profound. All that is profound, and I'm not gonna do it justice.
No, that's great. I think I resonate with what you said of, I feel seen because maybe I was too afraid to ask this question, or I was too afraid to say this out loud. And then I heard an artist or a singer, someone, they said it. So there's someone else who's having this existential
which is
wrestle
the empathy
crisis, which is the empathy, which is the not aloneness. Like, maybe I'm not alone, which I think for me probably gave me hope of like, all right, if I'm not alone, maybe someone knows a way out of this too.
That's right. That's right.
So maybe there's a way through.
Other people have been through it.
Yeah.
I think that's also the importance of like guides in life.
Yeah.
Like people that have just lived it, been there. And like when you tell them, they're completely unshook by it. I'm like, yo, I don't even know what's going on. They're like, oh yeah, been there. And you're like, oh.
You're like, oh,
and
really?
And you're still here and you're all right. Like maybe it'll be all right for me. Yeah.
Do you have some guides who have been that for you in your life that you can talk about?
Yeah, different moments. Like older people have been helpful. So I'd say like guys like Dave Ham, a buddy like Octavius, buddies like Adam. Like they're just people that are in my life at that time, a little bit older than me. And when I share something I'm going through, if they've been through it, they can empathize. And I can see, I'm literally looking at a person who's gone through it and they're ahead of me.
Yes.
So it feels like they could take some of the bullets before they get to me and I can learn from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I turned 30, I was just freaking out. And I was calling my boy. I was like, I'm thinking about this. And then he was unfazed. Octavius was like, yeah, sounds like you're turning 30. You're having an existential crisis. That's all right.
He's like, welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the party. And I was like, oh, I'm not the only one to ever go through this. So, art can do that. Good friends can do that. Make you not feel alone. It can just comfort you.
You saying one of my favorite lyrics that you say is, the key is to find the beauty inside the tragedy. How do you do this? Because I think we all face. I mean, life is hard. There's tragedy. There's chaos. It breaks our heart. And so, how do you go about finding the beauty inside of that?
You can chop this out if you want, but I tried to write something down in here because I knew you were gonna ask something to this regard. You told me you liked that lyric. Where did I have it? Oh, there it is. If I put it simply, that lyric. What's the lyric again?
The key is to find the beauty inside the tragedy.
Yeah, the key. Who wrote that?
Andy Mineo, greatest rapper alive.
I just wanted to hear you say it. No, the key is to find the beauty inside the tragedy. That was on The Sword, I think.
No, it was on Neverland 2. It's in the intro.
Was it?
Yeah. I just did my homework for this one.
I don't even know my
I was
own
going through
stuff.
the catalog.
Yeah. Well, I think to give suffering meaning is also, it creates gratitude. You know what I'm saying? For the experience. Like, we can't stop bad things from happening ever, because that is a part of being human and being alive and experiencing suffering. But if you can find meaning in it, then you can you can have a sense of gratitude, and gratitude is so life-giving.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a perspective thing for me, where it's like, that was an awful experience, but look what I got from it. Look what I
Yeah.
learned from it. Look what I took from it and can take with me in life and can help others with it. So that's why I think it's a key. Like, I've experienced some hurt in the last few years that I had to change my perspective on it in order to, I think, in order to mitigate the perpetual sadness that I had
Mm-hmm.
around it. So, like, for example, there was this person that I really admired, I really looked up to, and they had told me that they love me and that they were going to be in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, they dropped me.
Dang.
Like, they stopped communicating with me. I've tried to reach out. They would take a really long time to respond. And I was like, I was starting to get the picture. This person no longer wants to have a relationship with me.
Yeah.
And it was somebody I deeply trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's like a really sick thing to do to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I had to say to myself is, like, one, I had to come to the realization that this relationship is over. Like, and it was an older man
Okay.
who had, like, really helped me through some things. Stopped communicating with me. Essentially was like, I was like, it got to the point where I was kind of like begging to hang out. Like, yo, are we going to talk, chill, kick, or whatever? Like, I thought we'd do this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept rejecting me. And I had to go, oh, man, how, the first thing was like, how dare this person?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we used to have a relationship. Why is it not there anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing shifted for me when I go, and this happened with a couple friends too, but I had to go, oh, that relationship has ran its course.
Yeah.
And it is now complete. It's over, or at least over for this season in life. And I had all this resentment and anger because I was like, you're not being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this one quote from this philosopher. It's like, you have no obligation to be the person you were 5 minutes ago. Right?
Yeah.
Like, people are free to change
Yeah.
and change their opinion and change their, and I hoped for that consistency and the longevity of that relationship, but it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this induced a lot of pain for me because my story, my hurt is consistently around abandonment, right? Because I grew up without a dad around, which consistently made me feel like, what have I done to deserve to be abandoned or for them to not want to be around me? There must be something wrong with me. So this person knew that, and they still drilled into that thing by being like, I'm rejecting you. I don't want any relationship with you. So when my wife heard what was going on with this person, she was furious.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, that mother, like, like, how dare you? Like, you know that this is Andy's thing.
Right.
So obviously I'm experiencing pain, but the shift came when I said, you know what? I can't expect anybody to be in my life forever, either by choice or by literal, like, life circumstances. Like, people will die.
Right.
So we won't always be able to hold on to relationships, but the sooner you can get to the reality and the acceptance, which was for me, it's okay that this person is no longer in my life. I will be okay. And instead of hating them for not still being there or doing what they said, I can go, and then holding that anger to hold them to it. You should be like this. And then every time they come to mind, I just think they did me wrong. I could go, what if I just think about the time that I had with them as a beautiful experience? You know what? When I used to hang with that person, I learned this, this, and this. This made me a better person because of my relationship with them. This is something that I learned, like, that they taught me, that I still take with me to this day. That was such a pivotal time in my life. What an incredible moment we got to have.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it happened, as opposed to F them,
why
they're not,
Yeah.
And I can see the situation through the eyes of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, I don't feel like I hold anybody to that standard. I feel like if they come or if they go, I can be grateful for what I experienced. And that can be the end of it. And I can look at that scenario like, we don't talk anymore, but man, that was pretty awesome what we got to do. The time we got to hang out, or the music we got to make, or the whatever. And that allows me to do what I said in that lyric, which is like to find the meaning in the suffering.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a key. So I'm over talking, but
No, that's good. And I mean, it's helpful for me too, because the problem of evil and the reality of suffering is the thing that I wrestle with the most in terms of
Okay.
like having an existential crisis.
Sure.
It's a really very real issue for me. So I'm constantly trying to help make sense of my story and the place of the world within the context of suffering, and how do we make that meaningful? Because the question that I'm always trying to answer for myself is like, is my life meaningful? And I want to believe that and make that for myself. But I also want that for other people too.
yeah.
So when you talk about suffering and finding meaning in it, like that, in a sense, it makes it worth it. It's like, okay, if something golden can come out of this that couldn't have happened any other way, that is enough for my heart to be like, okay, I think I can live with that, right? I may not
Yeah.
love it, but I can live with it. It makes enough sense in my head, and experientially, there's enough meaning in it where it's like, I think I can live with that. So it's just really encouraging for me to hear you say that.
But for me, it's not even I can live with that.
Yeah.
It's literally I'm grateful for it.
Damn. Yeah.
Think about this. Because just being able to live with it is like, all right, but it still stings.
hear
It's
you.
still there.
Yeah.
But I'm literally like, bro, I think through our perspective, we can see them as good things, which
Yeah.
is bugged out. But that's a choice how we see it
Mm-hmm.
and how the filter we process it. But think about this. Typically, the greatest things that have ever happened to me in my life have been because of tragic situations,
Yeah.
right?
No, same.
So I'm like, I'm almost like when a tragedy happens, I'm like, or something bad, I'm like, what's the awesomeness that's going to come from this? And I know
Yeah.
that might sound like a little trite or whatever, but think about it. You have an incredible relationship with your kids
Yeah.
and you love them. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
you have like, I wonder if the difficult experiences you had as a kid are
Yeah.
the reason why you have such an awesome experience with them now.
Yeah.
And I would say the relationship with your kids is probably like one of the biggest sources of joy in your
Yeah.
life.
No, 100%. Yes.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, I got into rapping and going as hard as I have and like throwing myself into my art and creativity because I always felt rejected and I wanted to feel excellent in something. So it gave me this passion to be good at my craft. And that craft has been so deeply fulfilling
Yeah.
and has introduced me to so many people and taken me around the world, allowed me to see things. And I'm like, if my, you opened up this podcast by saying, Andy, you're a great husband and father. Why? Because I knew exactly how not to behave by looking at
Yeah.
my dad, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's not the dad I want to be. That's not the husband I want to be. It's not the person I want to be. And he gave me this model.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful that I had that, Like, my ability to be independent and learn how to be alone came from, like, the sadness of being alone. But now I'm like, I'm able to endure a lot more in my life because of those things. So not only do, like, I'm able to live with it, once
Yeah.
tragedy happens,
Yeah.
I'm able to be like, the best things in my life have typically come through that.
Yeah. No,
And I can
that's
have
super.
gratitude
No,
around
that's
it.
super helpful for me and really encouraging as well. Because now that when you talk about that, I like kind of go through the Rolodex in my mind. And it's like, oh yeah, that is true. Like, and one of the things that I do believe in is resurrection. And so I think even on like a micro level, that's what that is just like things die, but what comes back to life in place of that is
Yeah.
so much greater than what came before. But I think it's like, I know that in my mind, and my body and my heart is trying to catch up to that, to
Yeah.
like really attach
Sure.
to that reality, which is probably just like an internal wrestle that I have right now.
Yeah.
But a place that I want to try to get to.
And I think you may also be wrestling with the initial piece of it. Like, why did it have to happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why was pain inflicted or tragedy have to happen? Like, why does that exist in the first place?
right.
I'm not as much asking that question,
Yep.
which is more of an existential question. I'm looking at like the net positive that came
Right,
from
right.
it, and I'm like, oh, why it happened? That has nothing to do with me. So I just stay out of
Yeah,
that
got
question
you,
altogether.
yeah.
I go, those are choices that those people made.
Right.
What we do with that, what does they say? Like, you're not responsible for what happened to you. You're responsible for
Like how you heal from it. Or,
yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's the only thing I have the energy to work through. But like, why my dad acted like that, why certain people did these things, like, that's beyond me.
Yeah.
It's beyond my pay grade. That's between them and God.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can kind of shut that part off in my
Yeah.
brain and be like, yeah, because this isn't heaven, and
Right.
people are broken, just like I am, where I've probably done things to administer pain or hurt on other people because of maybe a time in my life or something I was going through. And I was like, not trying to do that, but I did,
Right. Right.
now, I've decided to, if I hurt somebody, repent, ask for forgiveness, so on and so forth. But, yeah, I can't really control what's happened to me. And also knowing I'm not like, that's another freeing thought, is I'm not responsible for what other people did.
Yeah.
That's like freeing, because I think my take was always to take the blame for it. Oh, well, they did something. It must be me that's the problem, why they did it.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not lovable. That's why this person, or I'm not enough. That's why this person did this to me. Those just aren't true things.
Right. So your identity has shifted and changed where you're like, oh, no, I am loved. I am valued.
Oh, yeah.
So like you're not attached to how someone behaves to you in your response anymore.
No. I think that's how I function at this moment. Maybe tomorrow I'll have a bad day or something, but at this moment I'm like, I'm dope. I'm lovable. I'm made in God's image.
Yeah.
I'm loved by God. Like, nothing can change that. So the way people treat me, that's their problem. That's their hurt or their, you know what I mean? So I try not to absorb that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And one of the things, to touch on that, he's a professor at Yale. His name is Miroslav Volf. But one of the things, he's done all of his work, like his academic work, but truly lived it too, on forgiveness. And one of the things that he talks about that has really shaped me in the last probably 2.5 years is he said he got to a place where he would see someone else's humanity, even people who had done him harm. And he was like, I realized that it was my responsibility to separate the deed from the doer. And so even though the action that they did was wrong, I'm not going to dehumanize them and tear them down with my resentment, with my rage, with my unforgiveness. Yes, they did something wrong. However, they also are a person who is made in God's image, who is valuable and who is loved. And so if we're really going to bring restoration and flourishing into the world in our communities, forgiveness has to be a huge piece of that. Wow. And it's a whole nother story, but I've had to walk a road of forgiveness the last like 2.5 years. And I truly believe that forgiveness might be like the most powerful force on the planet.
Sure.
Like in terms of how it can heal wounds, how it can restore relationships. Yeah. And it's not easy, and you could do an entire, series of podcasts just on forgiveness, but like you mentioned it, so I wanted to touch on that, is like that's actually a like daily practice that I try to cultivate, moving in this direction, what you talked about, of like, hey, when I'm forgiving someone who has wronged me, like I still see your humanity, like I still wish good over you in your life. I don't have any ill will towards you. And in my imagination, I hope that down the line, in this life or the next, that there's going to be this like celebratory restoration between us. Like those are the things I hope for and imagine, instead of the opposite of like, oh, I hope you get hit by a bus today, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, also me having a kid was a very interesting moment for me understanding other people, because I'm looking at this like helpless baby that needs my attention and my love and my care. And I'm like, my dad started like this. Every crackhead I've ever seen that has stolen something from one of our rental properties, you know what I'm saying? Like, people that you want to get mad at, you're like, they started as a baby. What happened between then and who they ended up becoming that caused them to take the trajectory they have?
Yeah.
Because we all start out in a way innocent and, a child. And you're formed. What's so crazy is my son, this baby, cannot do anything for themselves, essentially. Like they are completely entrusted into the hands of these parents who have to look at them, look out for them, guide them, take care of them, train them. And I'm like, in so many ways, up until a certain age, you are completely dependent on these people that you didn't get to choose.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so that's kind of a fascinating thing in and of itself. Like there may have just been things imparted into these people that have gone off and done bad that they had no choice in as well. You know, the nurturing aspect of who they are nurtured them in the wrong way, you know? And that gives me a lot more grace as well, I think, when I look at these scenarios with these people. But I don't know. I think you're talking about perspective is what I'm hearing as well.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because as I've done more and more reading research on human flourishing, one of like academically from like a sociological perspective, one of the things that they've seen that increases human flourishing individually and in communities is a practice they call recognizing the good, which essentially it's exactly what you were saying. It's whatever situation, whatever moment in time you find yourself in, if you can actually pause and be present and recognize the good. And that doesn't dismiss harm that's been done or injustice or anything like that, but in this moment, what are some good things that I can recognize and attach myself to? And so that's actually been like this like kind of cleansing of my mind and like how I approach things. I'd be like, okay, where can I find goodness in this moment? And then what can I do to increase goodness in this moment and in the world around me, you know, whether it's with my environment, with my relationships.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, Instagram has hijacked the phrase gratitude practices.
Right.
But that is essentially what it is. It is finding the good.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's powerful. Because when, I think when like your mind is on good or true things, like it's fuel to keep going. That's why we look for positive reinforcement to keep going. You know, like, oh, something good is happening. We should keep doing this. You know, but if you're always overwhelmed by the sadness and the bad things, like that is discouraging. You know what I mean? Like you don't have courage to continue.
Yeah.
Like, and so.
Dang, that kind of hit me as like, is recognizing the good the fuel that gives you courage to like carry on?
Absolutely. Because you know if your kid is doing something good and you're like, yo, you're really good at drawing, then be like, I want to draw some more.
Yeah.
Right? You know?
Dang,
Of course
so
I want to
good,
keep
bro.
going because you found good in it. And like we're drawn to goodness.
Yeah.
Like innately. Like what is that? I think that's part of like the divine that's in us.
Yeah.
It's like if God is good, we came from God. When we see and experience good, like we tractor beam towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about your faith, there's so many different stories that we could live by. And you said earlier that what was it, like story or art is really kind of like the back door to the heart. So what is
imagination?
I'm sorry, imagination. Yeah. What is it about like the story of Christ that is so compelling to you versus like any other story that you could attach yourself to?
Yeah. There's a lot of things in the story of Christ that stick out to me. One of them is the very almost like artistic way he flips everything on its head.
Yeah.
Concepts and ideas. We know the best part of movies are like the twist.
Right.
The
Plot
moment.
twist.
Yeah, they got you moments. And Jesus is like loaded with those.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you thought it was this? How about this? Like, oh, this person slaps you? You would think, fight him back.
Right.
I say, turn the other cheek. And you're like, yo, what does that mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm constantly confronted by Jesus's like teachings that completely blow things up for me.
Right.
And he's like, you think the people that are praying all loud are the righteous ones? You know, he's like, nah, I'm telling you, go in a closet and pray and don't let nobody see it. I'm like, yo, what?
What?
This is
this is crazy work.
He's so upside down with the way that he does things that I'm intrigued because I think that's fascinating, right? Or even on like the cross, he's like, yo, I could call angels down to destroy these folks. And instead, I like forgive them. I'm going to pray for them. He's doing the opposite of whatever our nature is constantly. And so I think that is perpetually fascinating. I can't get enough of it. And it is unexplainable because it's unnatural.
Yeah.
To behave the way he is, which makes me go, he might be supernatural.
Right.
If he's not natural. Like the natural thing is just destroy these folks. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Not
yeah.
pray for them.
Right.
So I find a uniqueness in him in that way. The other thing that has been incredibly fascinating is that, like, the idea that God takes on flesh to come to us and to live as we live and to empathize with us and to show us how to live.
Yeah.
In no other spiritual text do we see that. We just see, like, God's way up there and out there, and we got to find our way, make our way to him. And he comes to us in this story. That one blows up my paradigm.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
And the third one is this. I'm going through like a spiritual renaissance in my life right now, which we have to talk about more later. But I'm like, okay, historically, I've always saw faith and the spiritual realm and stuff like that as out there, and I don't really understand it, and therefore I kind of agree with it, and I believe it's there, but I'm not going to engage with it too much because it seems a little wacky.
Right.
If I'm honest with you. They're like, there's demons and there's XYZ. I was like, so how does that work? And then you ask somebody, and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So because of that, I'm just not going to fully go all in, chips all in.
Yeah.
I've been starting to get a framework of how the supernatural could work by finding consistencies.
Okay.
So, like, how there's consistencies here on Earth? Like, we have rules, we have, no right on red, you know what I'm saying? Stop sign. We've created systems to exist and flourish. I'm like,
except for in Atlanta, which is why the infrastructure does not flourish.
Absolutely. If you see an Altima, run.
Run.
Yeah, that's a consistency.
That's a consistency.
Altimas are driven by absolute maniacs.
Sorry, carry on.
I've been finding consistencies. Let me give you an example. I've been thinking a lot about how the spiritual, like there's spiritual evil. And why? Because the Epstein files came out. And they're eating babies and killing people and doing sacrifices. And I'm like, oh, all the wackiest stuff that you heard on YouTube from your grandparent or something, it's all true.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there's real evil in the world. Yes. Therefore, there must be real power as well. And things happening in a spiritual realm that has been fascinating to me. Now, I'm going off the deep end on your question here,
I love it.
Why?
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up. I was like, man, I think some of the things that we feel and experience here in this realm, even in like mental health and stuff like that is not exclusively just a human experience, but there may be other things at work in order to create unforgiveness and to create mental health, like constantly believing lies.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh, is there any consistency in this? Or is this just each individual experience? And I'm finding this. It's like, I talked to my boy who is a Dr. Mena. He goes, I've been a psychiatrist for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have never seen one schizophrenic person have a voice that talks to them that tells them they're handsome.
Yeah.
And I was like, I go, what's the voice always say? He goes, you're nothing, kill yourself.
Wow.
That is the consistent voice of schizophrenic people. You're nothing, you're stupid, kill yourself. So, and through my experiences of just hearing and meeting people and him as a psychiatrist, why is there no voice being like, man, you're handsome, you got this.
Yeah.
You're going to make it through life. That's not a voice. I'm like, oh, that is a spirit of death that is consistently showing up and having the same script. It's like, when a news outlet is being co-opted is when every single news outlet is reading the same exact script.
Right.
Right? You're like, this is an organized effort.
Right.
The tinfoil hat is on right now, by the way. I'm like, this is an organized effort to harm people. And I don't think it's purely physical.
Yeah.
And so it's made me go, the spiritual is real, and Jesus being this consistently different is a consistency that it draws me to him. I'm going to tell you another thing. When I was in college, I found out my girlfriend had cheated on me, and I was heartbroken. And I was experiencing like this overwhelming grief and sadness. And I experienced a profound moment of comfort. It felt like a presence came into the room where I was like weeping and hugged me. and like calmed me and brought comfort. And I was like, that was freaky and unexplainable, and it stopped my tears.
Yeah.
I have told that story to people over the years, and I've run into other people that had that exact same experience. And I'm going, whoa, that's an interesting consistency. Either
Yes.
this is a crazy coincidence, or maybe we are all encountering a spirit or an entity that is categorically that way.
Right.
Consistently a comforter.
Yeah.
Consistently a presence of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, what is that? And then you look at the Bible and you see stuff like in 2 Corinthians, he's like, I am near to the broken heart. I comfort those in need.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that sounds like what I experienced. And so those are other reasons why I think like my spiritual life is growing at this time, is like I see Jesus as this character that defies expectation,
Yeah.
but also has these consistencies that are aligned with goodness.
Yeah.
And I'm drawn to that. And even when I can't explain it and there's mystery, I'm like, I believe that this is good.
Yeah.
And I want to know more. So.
No, that's great, man. Thank you for sharing all that.
Yapper.
Bro, I appreciate it.
Big yapper.
I love it.
Big yap energy.
Nah, there were so many gems in there. You just have to go back and listen to that a couple times. One of the things that stood out to me, and I think it probably resonated because I feel similarly of where I'm at in my own spiritual journey right now, is understanding how personal Jesus is. And so when you're sharing your story, it was like we talked about at the beginning of this podcast. You're creative, you're an artist. And Jesus is like, I know how I can capture his heart is through my own artistry and through my own creativity. He meets you in your design and who you are.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, he's an artist. I'm going to meet him as an artist. And bro, I just see so much kindness and patience and compassion in that approach. And that's something for me that is so compelling to stay on the road. To be like, oh, I have to keep going in this direction because I've looked at everything else and a lot of other things. And it's like nothing draws me like that. Or it's like, oh, you're going to meet him exactly in how you created him to be. And
he can empathize.
Yeah.
Because he came into into earth in these bodies.
Yeah.
So he knows how you feel. He knows how I feel. And I don't want to cut you off because I was going to talk about the creative thing, but I want to.
Oh, yeah. So, no, the only thing I was going to say too is I've started to change my language a little bit about like good and evil. Cause I think for a while I would use words like injustice and oppression, which I don't think are wrong, but I don't think they touch the depth of what might be happening underneath in like the spiritual realm. Like evil is being primed by this force underneath, right? That we can't see. And so I've tried to start using that language a little bit more. So, you know, like what was like the murders that were happening in Minneapolis, like when ICE was there and the protests, it was like, was it an injustice? Sure. But what it really was, I think, is evil. Like things like that like Epstein files, like that stuff is evil. And like, I'm trying to call it what it is. And then Dallas Willard, he was a philosopher at USC, but he wrote this book called The Divine Conspiracy. And he has a line in there where he says that like Jesus's invitation to humanity, to his people, to the people that he loves, is to join in the cosmic conspiracy of overcoming evil with good. And I don't know a lot, and there's a lot of mystery and a lot of things that don't make sense to me. That makes sense to me, and that's a compelling way to live my life.
I'm all in on that right now.
Yeah.
It is a conspiracy. And the tinfoil hat is
tinfoil hat is our like signs.
It is the tinfoil hat is super glued to my head right now.
Yeah.
Bing, bing. It is a conspiracy. I could go on. This would be a whole nother talk.
Yeah.
But I could go on as to why I believe that to be true and why I believe the Christian life, fascinatingly enough, is about participating in renewing the world.
Yes, that part.
By bringing heaven to earth.
Sorry, schoolboy Q. That was
what?
That part.
That part.
Wow, I just ruined your moment. Go ahead, carry on.
Like, I thought for a long time Christianity was about like, oh, you got to read your Bible and you got to say your prayers and you got to go to church on Sunday and you got to be nice to people. And, you know, that's it. And I'm like, okay, but that kind of, that's like the foundation, base level. Yeah, of course you're going to do those things. I think that was the peak.
Right. Yeah.
We've made that the peak of Christian living, as opposed to, so God has brought you into his family for what again? Right? Like, is it just to just chill out here until he returns, or we die?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you to participate in helping other people?
Yeah.
And we know that, being this the Fully Alive podcast, we know that the highest form of living, which is studied categorically by philosophers and scientists, that the people are living the most fulfilled lives through service, through giving, through others, but through generosity. And I'm like, okay, so it just ends with us kind of being self-absorbed by reading our Bible, saying our prayers, going to church on Sunday. Or are we supposed to participate in a bigger conspiracy, which is to help others?
Bro.
Now all of a sudden, piety makes sense to me. Like, I mean, like holiness. The hat is.
Get some more tinfoil.
Yo, it's like the idea of spiritual disciplines and practice is not to do what it has been doing, which is making us self-righteous and feel better than other people.
Right.
It's to equip us to go help more people.
Yes. Yeah.
Just upside down.
Yeah.
Like, everybody thinks like, yo, if I go to church, you ain't going to church. Look at me, because I'm like, dude, you've missed the entire point of going. The point is that you can get fueled up to go serve more people.
Yeah.
And that is where you actually experience the most life. And it doesn't make it about you. I'm like, that's a compelling vision for how to spend your life.
Yes.
Not standing on top of a mountain and pointing at everyone else. See, I wish y'all could climb up here like I have. What?
What are you talking
crazy?
about? You
sound like a son of Satan.
Yeah.
You sound like the opposite. Like, these are people who are supposed to be helping. And you, by doing all your practices that look godly, but they are void of power, that's what you're doing. You think that's the peak of Christian living? Or teaching? I mean, and I'm sitting here with an SM7. These things have done more damage than Oppenheimer. But I'm like, you think like teaching is the peak of Christian living? Bro, we are so upside down. Bro.
Yeah.
So upside down. It bugs me out, and it's so clear to me right now. Like, the point of all of this, gaining information and spiritual disciplines, prayer, fasting, it's meant to just make you, it's spiritual weightlifting for you to go help more people.
Right. Bro, I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my head through the drywall right now.
Dude, I love it. Dude, just go run through a brick wall right now.
I'm gonna man. So that's where my head is. That's why I think Jesus is dope. He serves when everyone looks for an opportunity to help themselves. He helps others.
Yeah.
You know, like, he just breaks the paradigm over and over again. And so what you were saying about like God meeting me with his creativity, because he knows I have a creative bent, and that's how he's gonna connect with me. Dude, I've had the most profound experiences through nature, which is the visible, it's his creative order. Like, when I've had moments where I've looked at a tree 2 different times and just been floored. Yeah. And feel like I'm getting like divine wisdom and knowledge. One time I was in Bainbridge Island working on, forgot what album it was, The Sword or something like that. And I was out there with the guys from King's Kaleidoscope, and I saw a tree in the front of a yard, and it had fruits on it. It was like an apple tree, and then there was another one that had berries and stuff, and I was like, absolutely obliterated. I was like, wait a second. This thing comes from the ground, which, like, we didn't put the ground here.
Right.
Out of it just comes food, like free food, and it tastes good.
You're like, this is crazy. Anyone else see this?
This is insane. Yasa, we didn't got to go to the grocery store. This just is free. God did this. When we go to the grocery store, we're just paying for someone to pull it off of the thing and put it there for us to pick. But like, this all comes from the... Nah, bro. The earth is giving us free gifts. It's like, here, take me. That's bugged out.
No, it is crazy.
And I know it probably sounds stupid. You're like, yeah, Andy, trees give fruit. You know, like, duh. No, I was having a profound moment through creation. The creative order was like, yo, God organized this. Well, how generous is God? And I also find art in and of itself to be a generous act.
Oh, talk more about that.
Art is the imagination brought into existence.
Yeah.
So starts as a thought, an invisible thing, and turns into an act of generosity that creates something for others to consume. The way
Bro,
that
that's fire.
God thought of the tree or thought of anything, makes it out of his generosity, it creates something, and now we get to eat of it and enjoy it. I thought of a song, a lyric, and then I said, how can I invest my time, my energy, my money, my resources, my life source into creating something that can then go out into the world and be enjoyed by other people? It's a generous act
Dude,
to
I
make
love
art,
that.
whether
Yeah.
it's a poem, that's something that you can hear, whether it is a food, something that you can eat, the culinary arts, whether it is a painting, something that you can observe with your eyes. All the senses are activated by pieces of art put in the world, and those pieces of art come at a cost.
Yeah.
Someone has to do the work to make an idea, an intangible thing, a tangible thing for us to enjoy. And so I think when creativity is happening, we are aligning ourselves with the creator. We are acting like God
Yeah.
made in his image because we're doing what he does. And I think that's why art speaks to people on so many levels, because there's a sliver of the divine that runs through it.
I love that, man. And I feel that. And I feel like I see that sliver everywhere.
Yeah.
Like thankfully now I can see it, but I think some people think I'm crazy. Like, what are you talking about? It's just a song. And I was like, it's not just a song. There is a
No.
sliver of something holy and transcendent and
Yes.
divine. I remember I've had a couple times where like I've listened to a song and it's not like, quote unquote Christian music. It's actually not. And I've literally had the like almost urge to like take off my shoes, because in the Hebrew scriptures there's the time where Moses is confronted with the presence of God
Sure.
in this this bush that's burning and not being consumed, and the voice just says to him, hey, take off your shoes, like this is a set apart, this is a holy place. And dude, art has made me feel like that, quite honestly, more than I've ever felt in any sort of like religious service, which has given me my own
Yeah,
like
right.
existential crisis. I'm like, wait, isn't this supposed to be the place I'm feeling it? But I've actually unlearned that. I'm like, no, I don't hold myself to that obligation. Like these like cookie cutter square places are the places where this is where you can experience it. Like, no, it's
Yeah.
you see a tree or you see the mountains or the ocean, or you hear a song or something. You're like, oh no, I'm being drawn into like these holy places.
Yeah.
And now I just need to be present and like pay attention.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I mean, I feel like, and I feel like you might be experiencing that because the version of faith that we have here in America, it has been systematized in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that is not the way it's been throughout history
Mm-hmm.
or in other parts of the world. And just the version that we have is might be the expression that America has and has been shaped by being in America.
Right.
Now, this isn't to say anything bad about America or about the churches. It's to say like it has a particular flavor because of where it was dropped in. The way you and I have a particular view on life because we were born in America.
Yeah.
The American Christianity was born here out of the Industrial Revolution. We came here. This is a young country. We figured out how to create systems that allow us to scale companies, and capitalism is the driving force here. How do you think that is obviously going to be something that influences how the church functions in America too?
Right.
We scale it like a CEO, like a company with a CEO. You know what I'm saying? Pastors are kind of CEOs here, where they have to be everything, the face, not necessarily like the biblical idea of being like a shepherd,
Right.
smelling like the sheep, gathering them up. There's all the spiritual gifts they're talking about. I know it's a podcast about other stuff, but I'm like, anyways, the version that we have might not resonate
Mm-hmm.
right now, and it's okay to find alternatives. And I think that's what I've done through like home church, and like there's no cameras in there. Nobody's
Right.
trying to, sell a book or something. It's just like people are there because they want to learn more about God and grow in their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been life-giving. And one of the things that I've experienced, like you have through nature, was like I had this experience one time where I was prompted to just observe.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down, put my phone down, look out a window and observe, look at something. That's a meditative practice, like an old classic spiritual meditative practice. Just observe creation. And I sat there, and for like a minute or two, I was like, all right, this is a little boring, but like try, look. And I was just focusing on a tree. It was like, fix it, so look at something and let it wash over you. The way they say to do with art. When you go to like a museum, sit down, look at it, sit there. And they'd have art classes where they tell you stare at a painting for an hour and see what comes out, right? And as opposed to like, all right, we good, let's go, right?
Yeah.
And I did, and all of a sudden, all this stuff started opening up to me. I'm like looking at a tree, and I'm watching it kind of like move a little bit, and I was like, yo, why is the tree moving? And I was like, trees don't move by themselves. I was like, oh, there's an invisible thing moving it. The wind. The wind moves the tree, but I can't see it. So this physical object is animated by a non-physical thing that I can't see. Whoa. That's kind of like us as humans. I was like, there's an invisible part of us that animates us. Yeah. Because when you die, your heart stops, right? Like your physical body's here, but Scotty's not here. Like, where did you go?
Yeah.
What's the part of you that is the non-physical that we connect with, the emotional and all that? I'm like, yo, I felt like I just learned a spiritual lesson through looking at nature.
Yeah.
And it ties in with how I see the Bible and scripture and all that stuff. But it was fascinating to just have an observation moment and be like, I think this was more profound than anything I've experienced in the church in the last 20 years.
Oh, dude, I feel that 100%. I'm curious now at this phase of where you're at as a dad, as a husband, as a millennial, getting a little, both you and I are the same age, getting a little bit older. What kind of art are you inspired to make now at this phase of your career?
I don't know. I just, like, for me, art is like creating those things is kind of like a week by week basis almost. It's like,
so I guess today then.
Yeah, today, like the last project I worked on is this record called Magic and Bird 2. Like where we finished that, it's coming out. I think we created that, me and my friend, out of like a desire for a break from reality.
Okay, yeah.
So much of that record is just friendship and fun and like trying to make each other laugh. And that was what that is. I don't confine myself necessarily when I go to create to be like, it's got to be this thing, right? Unless that is like a strong prompting, I feel like I want to function inside these boundaries and now create with that in mind. And I think that's okay because those are like parameters for creating, but they don't like necessarily stay. Like they might stay for this moment, but not for this one. So I don't know, a break from reality, because I think also what happens for me as an artist is artists respond to the times. And right now the times have felt so heavy. They have felt so absurd. Like everyone has a podcast, everyone has a camera, everyone has the ability to make a TV show out of themselves. Everyone's giving themselves pats on the back. Everybody is got a hot take on stuff. I'm like, enough.
Right.
Everybody chill out, okay? I need a little break from this. And so almost absurdism has been fascinating to me because it like points out the absurdity and everything. And I think we live in unserious and absurd times. Yeah. Not that the times aren't serious, but we are an unserious people. Willing to do anything to make money. Willing to do, follow me as I go into a store and throw macaroni and cheese at someone's head. Let's do it on live. I'm like, relax.
What are we doing?
Yo, what are we doing? Yeah. I'm a woman. I have woman parts. I should start an OnlyFans. How about everyone calm down for a second? Not every single female I know needs to have their tatas online. Just hang on. It's a bit much right now. Yeah. And so me and my buddy John, like, we're in social media. We're on there. We're seeing stuff. We just saw so much absurd stuff in the last few years. We'll just send it to it. They're like, come on, man. And I'm like, you know what? It made me want to lean into the absurd a little bit because I'm like, this is so dumb. Let's make fun of things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And sort of in a comedic way, mocking the absurdity of things. And that's been like a healing and fun process. Now, I might not feel like that next week, But that's what this last project I just did was.
Man, that's exciting. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, it should be good.
Are you allowed to say when it comes out yet or not yet?
We're just trying to wrap everything up so that we can have an idea for a rollout.
Okay.
That we want to do it tiered and have it build up into a project. So we're getting all the assets together so that we can make that rollout happen. But I want it to happen this summer.
Okay, awesome. Can you tell everyone who's like, hey, that sounds fascinating. I want to be a part of it. I want to be involved in this awesome project. Taking part in this art and this creativity, like where can people find you, follow that, all that stuff?
So actually, you can go andymineo.com and then I have like all the access to my Instagram. I'm Andy Mineo on everything.
Okay.
YouTube, Instagram, wherever you are, TikTok, The Real Andy Mineo, whatever. What I'm going to do though, and this is the next phase for me, is I'm going to allow people to sign up directly to me.
Okay.
So that they can have access to stuff that I'm not going to be putting on the internet. I think one of the things for me that is so frustrating about these platforms is that if you really want to talk to your fans and the people that sign up to hear from you, you'll get buried and they'll never hear from you unless you're acting out of character and making clickbaity stuff. And you're like, these people came to me because I'm not clickbaity and they actually appreciate my art. But now I got to go dance in a stupid way to connect with the people that came for me, not for that. That doesn't make any sense. You want me to be hot take? Have you ever seen? Now I got to go do all that for someone who came to me for artwork. Come on, bro. I'm going to lose it. So now I want to give an opportunity for people to sign up directly, talk to me so I can talk directly to them. They never miss a drop.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to spam nobody. I want you, if you're interested, I want to be able to talk to you.
Right.
And so I'm going to start moving my stuff off of all the social platforms as like the only place they exist and saying, I'm going to use the social platforms to say, come over here where we actually are. I want to build real community. I want to do events in person. Like we want to do a fall classic here in Atlanta.
Oh,
and I want to get my fans, my followers, my supporters together to do stuff like a kickball tournament, softball, hang out, have food, meet the people that appreciate the art and the perspective and build something like real community because I think we're all just stuck here. So that was long-winded.
No, I love that. I think that's brilliant, and I will be there. Just say when and where.
That's it. Well, you're going to have to sign up. So we're getting that set up right now.
Is that just an email list then?
It's sort of an email list, but I'm actually working with a developer to create our own site, our own platform, and I want to be able to give it to other people for them to use it to connect with their fans. Basically like a super fan platform, but we're going to try to integrate some ideas into it that make it more in real life focused, event focused, and not be as spammy as some of these other sites. So
no, I love that.
We just haven't had it figured out yet. I wish I did so I could announce it right now.
Nah, it's all good. But man, it's even the way you roll things out, the moments you create and think about, man, you're so thoughtful, intentional, innovative, ahead of the curve. And I love it, man. I think it's super inspiring.
Thank you.
But so last thing, Fully Alive podcast. We talk a lot about big ideas and you can talk about mental health, spiritual health, creativity, all these things. But I just want you to leave the listeners with what is one thing that you could give some friendly advice on to live a more flourishing life, something that's practical, actionable.
The actionable item I would leave people with is make time for play. If you want to feel fully alive, take your pleasure serious and play. This is essentially the job of an artist, is to create and play. But I think through play and discovery and taking your pleasure serious, which would be like either expressing yourself, like I really love to write, go and write. I love to draw, go and draw. I want to go to a museum and check things out, go to scheduling the time to have almost make an irresponsible decision to play. I know there's a lot of people out here that already make irresponsible decisions. I'm saying making the time to dedicate that in order to feel something.
Yeah.
Because to be fully alive, if you and I know, like I know, our life is led by feeling. Right? How we feel is literally like the driving force in our lives. And we can feel discouraged. We can feel lied to. We can feel happy. We can feel gratitude. I am advocating for people to make the irresponsible space in their life to go and feel something in a positive way through art and creativity. And whether that's like making time to set everything aside and listen to an album and sit down and enjoy it, to go to a park, to intentionally set up to go watch a sunset. Like, the heart has to be engaged in order for you to live fully.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so often we prioritize the physical needs, which are important and they have to happen, right? The physical needs over connecting with our heart and connecting with God, or connecting with a piece of creativity that can make us see things differently. Scheduling that vacation and like allowing yourself to turn off. You know, this might sound privileged because some people are like, I can't go on vacation. I got 4 kids and I'm a single mom or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But there might be a small way you can take a vacation. You know what I'm saying? That drive around the block and listening to a song, you know, on your way to pick them up or on home from work. It's finding the space to connect with your heart. And I think that is what I would charge everyone with at the end of this pod. Just be like, go engage with your heart through art and creativity. Figure out what it is. Schedule the time for it. And even if it feels a bit irresponsible, I think it's okay. Go for it.
Man, I love that. I am going to be adding that
Do it
to my own life, because I feel that the pressure just to get things done, to check things off the list is like, oh no, I need to create space to connect with my heart. Man, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your art, your thought process. It's truly an honor to have you here, man. I love you. And I'm just excited to see all of the goodness and creativity and art that you continue to put out in the world.
Same, brother. Excited for your pod. I think it's going to help so many people.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes.